Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Fear is the virus is trending on TikTok. Vaccines are poison. Then your yoga teacher says that sex-trafficked children are being sacrificed by satanic liberals, but it's all okay. The Great Awakening is coming. What is happening? Every week on Conspirituality Podcast, we explore the fever dreams that suck friends, family, and wellness gurus down the right-wing cult spiral in a search for salvation.
The comments made by Amin Elhassan are made by him and him himself and nobody else, and not indicative of Basketball Illuminati, Tom Haberstroh, Anthony Mays, or any guest incorporated.
It's April 27th, and the Magic have defeated the Pistons to go up 3-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We watched it. Big game. Big dunk by Jamal Cain.
That was incredible. Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone flatten a guy that size since Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, man. That was crazy.
The year is 2003.
What?
Wait, is this the start of a new sentence? Or is that the longest pregnant pause ever?
I was letting you guys fill in the blanks as I explain the circumstances of what is happening right now. In 2003, when the Magic are up 3-1 on the Pistons in the first round as an 8 seed.
To the day?
To the day.
No.
Oh, deja vu.
All right, so you guys remember this series? This is the series where after a Game 4 win, Tracy McGrady is asked, he'd never made it out the first round to that point of his career. Said, if this is how you get out of the first round, how would that feel? And Tracy says, feels amazing. He's answering the question, which is the hypothetical, if you guys get this done. But everyone ran with the quote as though Tracy's saying the series is over. Detroit, at that time, that's Chauncey Billups. That's Ben Wallace. That's Tayshaun Prince. That's Rip Hamilton. They're like, who the hell is Tracy McGrady to say this stuff? Bulletin board material. It ends up fueling them. They win the series. The rest is history. And they go to the conference finals before bowing to the New Jersey Nets.
This is great. So Devin Henderson wrote an article for The Athletic, and he says, yes, Tracy McGrady remembers the 2003 playoffs. Yes, he remembers his team blowing that 3-1 lead. But no, he doesn't admit to the myth, in his words, of him infamously saying after Game 4 that it, quote, feels good to get into the second round.
Yeah.
Now, today, somebody didn't really do their homework, McGrady said on the postgame show. He can't find a video of me saying that.
Wow.
It's a myth.
I'm defending Tracy because what he did was answer a question about the hypothetical if you guys finish this job. But it sounds like Tracy's trying to say the words, I never even answered that.
Prove it.
Yeah.
There's no video.
It's a conspiracy.
The myth gets better because John Barry, who was T-Mac's teammate in Houston in 2005, was quoted by the Houston Chronicle saying, quote, Orlando got up 3-1 and he said it feels good to get in the second round. John Barry was on Detroit during the 2003 series. Here's the quote from T-Mac in Florida today after Game 4 in 2003. Quote, being a young guy in this league and being able to put a team on your shoulder and possibly get to the second round would be so great. I've been bounced out so many times and it's left a bad taste in my mouth. Now, if only somebody had looked it up instead of recirculating John Barry's mythical misquote.
You know what Doc would say? Google me.
Google me. T-Mac, look, hey, you can look it up. No one knows more about 3-1 leads than me. You know what? You know what they say, Tom?
What do they say?
In order to blow a 3-1 lead, you've got to be good enough to be up 3-1. And they never talk about that. We're an 8 seed. That's the team that go to conference finals every year. They win a championship a year later. Guess what? We had them on the ropes.
That's right.
Did they give us credit? No.
But we're talking about it today on Basketball Illuminati. Thanks to Anthony Mays for bringing this up, Doc. So, look, Doc, we're talking about it, that it's the 8 seed. You were the 8 seed.
That's right. And we had them on the ropes. Do I get my credit? No. They hold it against me somehow. I should have been swept. I would have been better off just losing 4-0. Then 4-3. We're the 8 seed. We went to 7 games.
If they blow this 3-1 lead, there might be a coaching vacancy in Orlando.
Hey, I kept my house. Golf year-round. Catch me on the links.
My assignment: uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
So you've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well. That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh. And as always, I'm joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals, Amin Elhassan and producer Anthony Mays.
What's up, Illumination? Thank you for keeping your third eye open. As always, you can support us at patreon.com/countthedings. That'll get you ad-free episodes and help us continue to produce the show. Also, check out our YouTube page at Basketball Illuminati. You can watch our Truth Teller interviews and Do You Believe episodes there. Please subscribe and continue to show your support. Thank you.
We've got a great show. We're going to do a little inconvenient truth here. A new award was just announced, and Amin's got some thoughts on that. Very inconvenient.
Well, if you're telling everybody, it sounds like a convenient truth.
Oh.
The beauty of the inconvenient truth is that it's not when you expect it.
Well, then forget all that.
It's a myth.
Is this about Doc Rivers? Did Doc Rivers win an award that we don't know about? All right. I did some research, and I haven't done any research recently, and so it's time to bring back. Tom did his own research. We're also going to get a truth teller.
Yes.
Adam Mares from All City Podcast, All NBA with Tim Legler, and of course, DNVR. We're going to talk Jokic, legacies, emotions, and whether he's a sore loser.
And whether David Adelman is a fraud.
Fraud. We talk UNC and Michael Malone, whether he's a good fit there, and also the import of Mr. Aaron Gordon and his injury. We'll talk about all that with Adam Mares later, but first.
A quick message from today's sponsor, the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. If you're a pet owner, whether you're a dog person or a cat person, you know the feeling when their behavior starts to change and they do something odd and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Did they eat something? Why aren't they eating? Has that thing on their leg always been there? Luckily, ASPCA Pet Health Insurance helps cover eligible vet expenses. So when these things happen, you can focus on getting them the care they need without overthinking the cost or second-guessing your decision. Plus, when you enroll in an ASPCA Pet Health Insurance plan, you could get a $25 Amazon gift card. It's a little treat for you while you're doing something great for your pet. Because big vet bills never show up when it's convenient, do they? To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/dings, D-I-N-G-S. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/dings. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit aspcapetinsurance.com/Amazon terms for more info. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Hello, listener. Producer Mays here to talk to you about ButcherBox. We all know the struggle. Dinner time rolls around. You're tired from your long day. You didn't have a chance to get to the store. What are you going to do? Going to get delivery again? Takeout calling your name? Wrong! Your freezer is full of ButcherBox high-quality products. We're talking chicken breasts. We're talking ribeye steaks. We're talking salmon. So you're good. You get in the kitchen, you make yourself a beautiful meal, and you go to bed content. For over a decade, ButcherBox has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and independently verified. Because when it comes to fueling your body, quality isn't extra, it's everything. Clean, whole protein means better support for strength, metabolism, and that steady all-day energy we're all chasing. And the best part is these premium protein options are delivered straight to your doorstep in vacuum-sealed packaging, allow you to pop it right in the freezer for whenever you need it. ButcherBox will even send you a whole chicken, which for me is ideal. I love to cut that thing up into pieces, roast it over some veggies, or if you're feeling frisky, you can go for a spatchcock. As an exclusive offer, new listeners can get their choice between chicken breast or top sirloin for a year or ground beef for life, plus $20 when you go to butcherbox.com/PYK. That's right. Your choice of chicken breast or top sirloin for a year or ground beef for life, plus $20 off your first box and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/PYK. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you.
Folks, let me tell you, especially when I was younger, banking sucked. Put this amount of money in to open an account, but we're going to take this amount of money every month. And oh, you were 34 cents over. We're going to charge you $35 in overdraft charges, all this stuff. And you're just giving away money to a bank who was supposed to hold your money. Well, not with Chime. Chime is changing the way people bank. They offer the most rewarding fee-free banking. This is fee-free banking built for you, not like traditional old banks that charge you overdraft and monthly fees. They have thousands of fee-free ATMs. Imagine getting your own money out without having to pay. Incredible idea, right? It's built for you. It's not built for the one percenters. Chime members can benefit from up to $1,150 in annual rewards fee-free. Direct deposit unlocks the most rewarding way to bank at Chime. No cashing checks and all that stuff anymore. You're not just switching banks. You're upgrading to America's #1 choice for banking with a Chime checking account. You get 5% cash back on Chime card in a category of choice like gas or groceries. You get savings that grow faster with a 3.7% APY. That's 9 times higher than the national average. Plus, you get premium travel perks like airport lounge access, 24/7 travel concierge included with your Chime card. They also have Spot Me, which lets you overdraft up to $200 fee-free. Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/basketball. That is chime.com/basketball. It only takes a few minutes to sign up.
Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services from MyPay and Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Optional products and services may have fees or charges. Stated annual percentage yield and cashback for Chime Prime only. No minimum balance required. Checking account ranking based on a JD Power survey published October 20, 2025. For more information on APY rates, MyPay, Spot Me, and travel perks, go to chime.com/disclosures.
You are listening to The Agenda with Amin Elhassan and Tom Haberstroh. Guys, I think we need to file another extraordinary circumstances grievance.
Yep, I'm with you. Jalen Duren should not be most improved player of the year, for sure.
Take it back.
Shouldn't even be on the ballot. All-NBA, get rid of him.
That sounds like take backsies.
Yeah.
Well,
is that extraordinary circumstances or is that?
It is. It is. Because he's not a good postseason player, he should not be most improved or All-NBA in the regular season, for sure.
So Wendell Carter should take his spot?
Yes.
Yep.
Should hand it over to him.
And Jamal Cain.
Took his woman and then took his spot.
She posts on Instagram.
I know. That's bad.
Oh.
I get it. You're proud of your man, but that's not an accident. Oh, I just want to pick one of his highlights. The one where he's dunking all over, literally dunking on my ex. Angel Reese is who we're talking about, guys.
Yeah.
Big week for exes getting dunked on the internet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not talking about Jalen Duren, Tom. I'm talking about Kon Knueppel. My guy, Kon Knueppel. He loses the Rookie of the Year vote. 56 first place votes for Cooper Flagg, 44 for Kon Knueppel. So it's a 12-vote gap, but it's really a 6-vote swing. 6 people swing it back. You got a 50-50 tie. And Brett Siegel on Twitter says, several NBA media voters publicly admitted to the play-in tournament changing their minds from Knueppel to Flagg. And I know what you're wondering. You said it yourself, Tom. postseason performance. How is that affecting a regular season award?
Yeah.
Why do they have the time to watch these play-in games before they submit their votes for Rookie of the Year? Maybe it's because Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic filed extraordinary circumstances grievances. So did Anthony Edwards. He was denied, which extended the voting window until after the play-in games, where Kon Knueppel shot 1 for 12 from 3 in 2 games.
Okay, I'm confused because he says many voters are publicly admitting this. Who are the many voters?
Well, Bill Simmons, I think, is the main one.
Well, Bill Simmons said he switched his 6-man vote from Hawkes to Keldon Johnson. Bill Simmons is not going to change his Kon Knueppel vote because he drove Kon Knueppel home back to his hotel after a podcast.
Fair.
So that's not going to happen.
I guess I'm stuck on something different. What's the definition of many?
I would say at least 5. Several would be less than 5, but more than 3, which is 4. Sorry. I'm Tom Haberstroh, and you're watching The Big Number.
There are 100 voters. If you say many voters, I don't think it could be 5. That's not many.
It's true.
Because it's so relatively small. That's more than a few.
Well,
a few voters.
If you put it this way, is it 30 voters?
That's many.
Because Tim Bontemps at ESPN, in the final straw poll, he added not just the MVP, he did the Rookie of the Year. And in that end of the year Rookie of the Year straw poll, Kon Knueppel had 80 first place votes and Cooper Flagg had 20.
Okay.
So there's the swing.
So there you go.
30 votes.
But Brett Siegel is alleging they're publicly saying, not that they changed their mind, which they could have done between the straw poll and in the season.
If only Brett Siegel was as dedicated as our own Max Cross.
Yeah.
It's Max Crows.
To actually running down these several voters who changed their minds publicly. But that doesn't matter to me. Whether it's real or false, that's enough evidence for me, as Kon Knueppel's lawyer, to file an extraordinary circumstances grievance.
Wow.
That the extraordinary circumstances grievance delayed the vote and cost me the award.
Does it get more extraordinary than this?
No!
This is the most extraordinary circumstance possible.
This isn't a collapsed lung. This is paperwork and litigation.
People collapse lungs every day.
Yeah. Babies are born every day.
Yep.
And it's the extraordinary measure that delayed the vote and caused people to vote regular season award as if it's a postseason award. That sounds as extraordinary as it gets, guys. You're right. I'm with you, Maze. I almost feel like, to go patient zero on this.
Patient zero?
We'll get to patient zero. Does Cade Cunningham file his extraordinary measure grievance if it isn't for Luka Doncic filing his?
Does he even know? Does he even know that this is a path?
So this baby.
Yep.
Is responsible for Kon Knueppel losing the Rookie of the Year vote, is what you're trying to say.
Don't let Kon Knueppel meet Luka's baby. It's going to throw hands. It's going to be like that episode of The Real Bros of Simi Valley.
Yo, why is he looking at me like that? What's up, little bud? Got a staring problem, pal?
Like what, dude? He's just looking at you. He's a baby.
Look at his face. Dumb little face.
Stop.
Yo, Zan, get your boy, dog. He's little, dude. What's going on?
Yo, hey, what's good, dog?
Get your child.
What are you talking about, bro? He's just chilling, dude.
It's okay, bud.
He's not chilling, okay?
What's
I come
good?
here to show some love to my bros.
Yeah.
And I guess your whack little child. And what do I get? Looks like he's dogging me. Looks like he wants to throw baby hands. Like he wants to fight right now, fool. So, like, let's go. I'm about to fight your kid right now.
You're seriously so mature.
Hey, right there, pal. Can you read yet? Check it out. Read that.
It takes time to connect the dots.
I know that.
But also, I know that there could be a day of reckoning when you wish you connected the dots
more quick. What were we thinking? Why didn't we wake up when we had a chance?
Move it! Demolish it! Blow it up!
What gets us into trouble is not what we don't know.
It's what we know for sure.
That just ain't so.
Amin's inconvenient truth.
Communicate this real clearly. The only way I do it.
City by city, person by person, family by family.
There are a lot of people go straight from denial to despair.
Without pausing on the intermediate step of actually doing something about the problem.
Amin's inconvenient truth.
I don't know if you saw this. Right as we were recording, news comes out. Brad Stevens wins Executive of the Year. Executive of the Year, very famously, not voted on by the media. This is the one award that is not voted on by the media. It's voted on by the other executives. The 30 executives that run the NBA teams, they're the ones that vote.
Which is why Max Crows did not speak on this in last week's episode. If you haven't listened yet, go listen back to Max Crows' interview last week, who does the MVP tracker.
To be fair, Max, maybe you need to start plugging into Trajan Langdon's podcast or Ben Tenzer's podcast or Tim Connolly's podcast.
Daryl Morey's radio hits, WIP. Yeah.
Maybe they're talking about who they're voting for. But executive of the year, and this ties in, believe it or not, to the 3-1 blowing Orlando Magic of 2003. Because in 2000, John Gabriel won executive of the year because he put together an Orlando Magic team that had cleared all the salary cap off the books, jettisoned Penny Hardaway, Nick Anderson, and all those guys, and they ended up with this scrappy team that was expected to be awful. The sole purpose of this team was to clear the salary cap books for the summer of 2000, where they would go after Tim Duncan and Grant Hill. Everyone knew what they were doing. Everyone knew what the play was. Now, what ended up happening was this team of kind of castaways, the Darryl Armstrongs and Bo Outlaws, Chucky Atkins, and a young Ben Wallace. These guys actually overcame the expectations and were a 500 team, coached by Doc Rivers in his first coaching job. So John Gabriel won Executive of the Year because he tore the thing down and put him in a position to be big-time free agency players. They didn't get Tim Duncan, but they did get Tracy McGrady. And that's why he got Executive of the Year. Like, you did all these cost-cutting measures. But then Doc Rivers wins Coach of the Year because, you took these mismatched parts and you actually made them decent. So which is it? Are we brilliant for tearing it down, or are we brilliant for building up what was remaining?
Yes.
And so fast forward to moments ago while we're recording, Brad Stevens wins Executive of the Year. But what did Brad Stevens do going into this year? He did a bunch of cost-cutting moves that were all signaling, hey, we have a gap here because Tatum is out. Let's get our finances under control. This year doesn't count. Next year we'll be back and we'll have everything under control and our best players will be healthy and all that. But against all odds, this team that a lot of people were down on, they ended up being the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And as a result of them overcoming the long odds, Joe Mazzulla's a finalist for Coach of the Year. So again, I say, which is it? Are they smart because they tore it down, or are they smart because they built it back up?
Yes.
That's your inconvenient truth.
What does that look like? You doing your own research? Are you doing studies yourself? Are you in the lab on a nightly basis? What are you doing?
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Doing your own research.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not here to tell everyone that this is it. For me, it's just giving everyone a chance to do their own research and find their own knowledge.
Speaking of patient zero.
Yeah.
Did a little research, guys.
This is on the heels, obviously, this happened since the last time we recorded, but Dante DiVincenzo ruptures his Achilles. He's number 0.
Yep.
Joining illustrious number 0s like Damian Lillard and Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton, who all ruptured their Achilles while wearing number 0 in the playoffs last season.
Everyone that I can tell seems to believe that this insinuates that the number 0 is cursed.
Yes.
There is a curse on number 0, that there is a hex on 0.
Well, Tom, did you know that on this day,
what now?
In 1184 BC, Achilles wore number 0 in the Trojan War.
Oh.
Was he up 3-1 in that war?
They were up 3-1.
That jersey was a big seller, by the way. That Achilles number 0.
They just re-released it in honor of the Odyssey. Coming out.
As a good Greek, I had to do research on this Achilles tear because it does seem to me that anyone who wears number 0 is gonna fall prey to the Achilles injury that has taken the heels of Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and of course, Dante DiVincenzo, all wearing number 0. Now, I ask you the question, is it cursed, or is this just a mind trick? I think we're all sheep here.
Okay.
If you believe that the number 0 is cursed, do you know why?
Why?
What if I told you that 0 is the most popular jersey number in the NBA?
No fucking way.
What we're really seeing isn't a curse or a hex or some sort of supernatural spell that is cast against the number 0. We're just responding to a large sample size of injuries because the number 0 is literally the most popular jersey number in the league.
The rare instance of large sample size theater. We're so accustomed with small sample size theater. We got large sample size theater.
Amin, you'll enjoy this. I feel like this is right up your alley on jersey number trivia. There's 22 players this season that on the final rosters at the end of the season, according to Basketball Reference, had the number 0. I'm also including Ray J. Dennis of the Atlanta Hawks. That was number 0 until Jonathan Kuminga got traded to Atlanta, and then he took 00. And I would also throw in here that if we're including 00s, there's over 30 players in the league with 00 or 0. I mean, where do you draw the line here?
You can't count the 00s unless they tear both Achilles. Then the 00s are in play.
What?
Achilles didn't wear 00.
Yep. He wore 0.
So it doesn't count.
I think it's evidence that it's also the most popular jersey number in the NBA because what's stopping someone from being like, I'm 01?
Tom.
Can anyone be 01? No. No one's like, oh, he's got 1, so I'm going to be 01. There's so many players who want 0 that there's literally an exception, an extraordinary measure, extraordinary circumstance that will let you add another 0 to your 0, and that's okay. This also brings up who is the patient 0 of 0, because if all these players are obsessed with the number 0, who is the player that got them all to want to be 0? Is it Agent 0?
When I entered the NBA, for the first 40 games of my career, I sat on the bench. They said I was going to play 0 minutes. You know, I just think they didn't see the talent that I had. They thought I was a 0. And instead of sitting there being bitter, I just practice. If no one believes in you, anything you do is a positive. It wasn't even about basketball anymore. It was about proving them wrong. Another reason I wear number 0 is because it lets me know that I need to go out there and fight every day.
For those who are wondering who is 0 in the league, Jalen Duren. I'm worried about you, man. Worried about you.
Well, you just tried to take away his all-NBA, so you can't be that worried about him.
I don't want to take away his longest tendon in his body. So Jalen Duren.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker was 0 once upon a time.
Right, but not anymore because Jonathan Kuminga is number 0. Ray J. Dennis, the very rare 3 first name. He's got 00 now, but he was 0. Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Black, Miles Bridges, Simone Fontecchio, Tyrese Halliburton, of course, Bilal Coulibaly, Jordan McLaughlin from the San Antonio Spurs, Christian Brown, Aaron Holiday of the Houston Rockets, and Ryan Dunn of the Phoenix Suns.
Well, he's done.
We, of course, talked about Damian Lillard and Scoot Henderson with the 00. Brad Beal with the Clippers.
Yeah.
GP2, who is 0, but Jonathan Kuminga was 00 with the Warriors, then switched it to 1, and now he's in Atlanta with the 0.
There was a game last year between the Warriors and the Suns where we had 2 0s and 2 00s. Between Kuminga, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, and Gary Payton II, and they were all on the court at the same time.
Wow.
I was there for a game that had 4 out of 10 players were 0s.
A quadruple 0?
More because he had the 2 00s going on.
That's a sextuple.
Whoa! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Woo! Oh wow! What does this mean? It's so beautiful.
I fear for Jeremiah Fears and Jalen Wells and Malik Monk, all of them with the 0. So there you have it. Patient 0 of the 0 curse. It's just that it's the most popular jersey and the mind is playing a trick on us.
Large sample size theater. Think about it.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause. Even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
Adam Mares from the All NBA podcast, DNVR. Why do you hate vowels over there in the network? What is that?
I think it's just like ESPN, DNVR, every CHGO, PHLY, just the cities.
Yeah.
It's our own call signs.
Okay, cool. I like it. I just don't know if there's a city that has more than 4 consonants. Is it out? Like
we've done this. So we went through all the major cities because you have to like buy the websites that you might potentially need. So we're sitting on a bunch of these. And there are some that are just impossible. There's no way to get around it. You can't even make sense of it. You look at it, you're like, what is it? I can't remember which one is the hardest one.
Atlanta's pretty good one. That's
Iowa would be hilarious, but there's no teams out there.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to Iowa soon.
Well, at least on this day, I think Mountain Time. You guys it's still in the morning there, Adam.
Yeah.
We're not talking to you this morning about how the Nuggets got beat in the first round of the playoffs yet, but we got a Jokic is back game, and it feels like Rudy Gobert having, being the Nikola Jokic stopper. That storyline is done for the day. So Adam, we don't have to do that today, but what did you see last night from Jokic, and why does it feel like there's a certain permanence to the playoffs that, like, for the first 3 games or 4 games, I'm just sitting there be like, man, maybe Jokic just doesn't have it. Like, maybe his knees still bother him. Maybe the teammates, he's just not, this isn't their year. Maybe he knows it. And then suddenly 1 game later, I'm like, yep, the Nuggets are back. We should put him back on the pedestal.
What's funny, man, so Jokic was obviously horrible in games 2 through 4. I mean, and Rudy Gobert did an incredible job on him. His defense was terrible. These 2 players have played each other more possessions than any 2 players in the player tracking era. And it's so funny to me that we go through these 2, you go through a couple games and it's like, okay, well, hold on. This the Jokic stopper is here. It's like, hey, guys, these guys have played 2 7-game series, a 5-game series, and now 5 games of another series. And they've been in the same conference every year for 11 years, and they're always healthy. So they play each other 4 times a year, and they're always available. So we've seen these guys play so many times. Jokic has a 60-point game, a 56-point game, another 50-point game. Like, there are a lot of instances of these 2 guys matching up. So to me, it's always laughable, but this is just how we are. We're constantly living in the past and the future. So when we watch Game 4, we have to go back and also reestablish what 2023 meant in 2024, but we also have to talk about what could happen in 2029 and what that might mean. When really it's like there's other things that are interesting about this series, in my opinion, that really contextualize this matchup. And those things are that, one, without Aaron Gordon, Denver does not have a backline of defense. And so you are able to get downhill pressure at the rim, put Jokic into pick and roll, play 5 out and spread him out to the 3-point line, or just roll Rudy to the rim. And now you have to pick between protecting the lob, boxing out, or stepping up. And you can do that to Nikola every second he's on the floor. And on top of that, without Aaron Gordon, you have a shorter rotation. Jokic has been playing 40 minutes in these games and wearing down as time goes on. The injury to Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo completely takes away most of the levers that Minnesota has to put pressure and strain on Jokic and Jamal Murray. And without those guys, you just saw a lot less rim pressure last night. You saw Jokic, if you just think about how hard was Jokic's job in Game 5 compared to Game 4, Rudy was still there. That matchup didn't change. But all the other things that you do to sort of attack him and make him vulnerable are gone. And all of a sudden, it does become a bit more of a one-on-one matchup. So that's what I saw from the game, was that the job that Jokic had in Game 5 was significantly easier than the job he's had in Games 2, 3, and 4.
Adam, I saw Draymond Green talking about what gives Jokic problems, his length. And he went back to 2020 in the bubble and cited, because the Lakers had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis to some extent, that bothers him. Meanwhile, I've always thought about smaller, stouter guys. So Draymond famously did a great job in 2022. And then last year, we all know about Alex Caruso. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just Caruso one-on-one, but Caruso, the way he defends, allowed the Thunder to kind of neutralize Jokic a little bit. You watch him more than anybody. What are the things that give him problems?
Yeah, I think Rudy's length gives him problems. And really, if you think about it, what makes Jokic a great offensive player is there's a counter to everything when the system is fully working. So if you have the length inside and he doesn't want to go down to the block and shoot over you, well, does that length translate now to the pick and roll up top where I can get you out of pocket and roll? And if I have my guy in the dunker spot, a player like Rudy, who's really good, we always talk about long closeouts, like you get to the baseline or you get to the paint and then you go all the way to the corner. It's impressive. You can cover that ground. But sometimes covering like 7 feet of ground is just as impressive if you do it quick. And so that little floater zone, drop it off down below, go up for a dunk. Rudy's really good at showing and recovering on that, even though it's only 7 feet. He gets there in such quick time that even a lob can be challenged. And the Aaron Gordon is the lever for that one. So length can give him trouble, but he's so good at saying, and I think that was the game plan in this series, okay, Rudy inside, that's going to be tough. You know, maybe it's an even fight. Maybe he wins the battle. But let's pull him outside now and make him guard the three-point line. I'm going to get behind him. I'm going to roll. I'm going to have the lob threat. You take away the lob threat, and obviously that part's gone. And then you also take away the Timberwolves just are so good at not getting screened again on Jamal Murray. And so you kind of take away the two-man game as well. So I think length bothers him. The really only thing that I've ever seen him, I think he's overcome every defense given circumstance, or, you know, like I've seen him be good against different types of defense. I think the hardest defense for the Nuggets to solve and for him to solve is the Alex Caruso one. Put somebody really small on him, get as physical as you can, and bring a second defender, a Chet Holmgren or Rudy Gobert, somebody behind as the backline defense. That's the one that I think is, if there is a magic bullet to the fully healthy Denver offense, that would be the one that I think is toughest.
Were you surprised game 2? I know Coach Adelman said, hey, I trust whatever my MVP does. Were you surprised that given a short floater, which he's excellent at the rim, he decided to pass to Brown under the rim?
I wish I was surprised. I am surprised because it was clearly the wrong play, but I've seen Nikola make that mistake before, especially when he's having a rough showing. And I think that's, you know, part of, like, I've been very frustrated with Yoke for the last handful of games. And even though I think the deck is stacked a little bit against him with some of the circumstances, it's evening out now with these other injuries, but he still can be a guy that, like, misses a couple. That shot, to me, your best player has to take it, in part because it's a responsibility. Like, you give it to Christian Brown, and now he gets fouled, and now it's like, hey, you got to go win the game for us at the line. That's a tough spot to put a guy like that in when you're the best player, and the shot you had was probably just as good of expected value as the one you were handing off. So I was frustrated, but I shouldn't say I was surprised, because he does make that of all the miscalculations he makes, that's one of the ones he makes most frequently.
Is that modesty? What is that?
I think his brain is wired in this, like, you know, always, I don't think he views this stuff as unselfish. You know, I'm dropping it off. I think he just views it, that's basketball. The right play was, this is slightly closer to the basket, so why not give it to him? But so that calculation to me can be messed up a few times when I always talk about Yoke views the game so as 5-on-5, no one-on-ones. But I think in the NBA, there is some one-on-ones. Like, there is just sometimes the team wants to see you go through that guy, and everybody is going to get a boost from just you doing something, even if it was not the best expected value. It just, we need to see you do something so that we can rally behind you. Anthony Edwards had a horrible series. You know, coming off of the injury, he's shooting like 30% from the field. But I think he gave a team a boost by saying, yeah, but I'm going to take 25 a game, and they're all going to be downhill going right at these guys. And the rest of the team, it took the weight off of their shoulders. And also it's like, yeah, I'll rally behind this guy, man. He's attacking every single time.
Adam, when I look at the numbers, what they tell me is that Jokic has not gone to his post-up nearly as much as he used to. In the regular season, he led all players with over 9 per game, according to Sport Radar. And I think that's just his own scoring, not including his passes. In this series, it's cut down by a third. I think there was only 3 such plays in the game last night, and it's around that number in this series. Is that what Jokic wants, or is that what Rudy Gobert wants? Like, in the tactic, the X's and O's strategy-wise, who's winning that battle?
Well, if you're going to shoot 6 for 30 something in the series, that's definitely what Rudy Gobert wants. The Jokic's 3 ball has kind of left him. And that's been the story really since the injury that he sustained in January. But he hasn't had it in the series, even though they're giving him wide open looks. So I'd say it's what Minnesota wants, but I also think it's what Denver wants or what Denver wanted coming into the series. What's interesting is David Adelman at the beginning of the year said, we're probably going to post Jokic up less this year throughout the regular season, because that's one area where teams can just beat him up and we want to save him for the playoffs. And I wondered when I heard that, I thought that's a good strategy. I think it's smart. That is tough to be down in the post all game and try to win games down there. But is it easy just to flip a switch late in the year and say, okay, now we're going back to the thing that we're best at and we're doing this? I think there's maybe a little bit of that where Denver hasn't run him in the post as much this year. So maybe there's less familiarity or rhythm. But I think the other part of it is that Denver, and if you look at game one, they were able to draw Rudy Gobert out of the paint. Jamal Murray got into the paint because of it. And it was almost a sacrifice. Well, if my job is actually to just get Rudy out of the play and we can win 4-on-4. It worked in game one. It didn't work in games 2, 3. And I think that Denver kind of fell into a rut of having to adjust and figure something else out.
Is Rudy Gobert an underrated defender in your mind, like as someone who covers nationally and watching him in this series?
The funny thing about this matchup is I always think Rudy Gobert gets crushed despite being this incredible defensive player. But part of it is because Jokic has always had these monster games against him at the exact right moment. You know, the 3-1 comeback, that game 7, Jokic has half the team's points in a closeout game 7. And if you go back and watch it, Gobert did everything he was supposed to do. That wasn't a bad effort. Jokic hit some tough shots. I think Jokic's best game of his entire career is likely game 5 of the playoffs in 2024 against Rudy Gobert, where he just didn't miss anything. And you go back and watch the tape and it's like, Rudy Gobert had his hand exactly where it's supposed to be, shoved him to tough spots, and Jokic just hit these tough fallaways for 48 minutes. So I think Rudy Gobert is an incredible defender. He's probably is the toughest challenge that Jokic faces in his career. Wemby, we'll see. We don't have enough of a sample size with Wemby really quite to know, but I would say it's probably Rudy Gobert. But Jokic has just always risen to that challenge up until this year.
What is the deal with the unwritten rules? I want to get to this point. Like we're here. It might be the name of the show this week, Maze. If you're trying to come up with them, what is it about the gamesmanship, the sportsmanship at the end of the game? Does that reveal anything to you about Jokic? Is it because to me it's like it seemed like for a team that was really trying to foul late to extend the game and then watch Jaden McDaniels take that layup at the end, I didn't think anything of it, but Jokic clearly took it personally and made them know about it.
So he has a couple of these in his career.
Yeah.
Where, like, I would say late.
Let's say he's a sore loser.
He's a sore loser. He kind of is. I think he actually is. You know, they get swept by the Suns back in 2022. That's the year with no Murray and Michael Porter. And he gets thrown out of the game, kind of getting in Devin Booker's face, if you remember, late in the game. And like he has a handful of these over time. Even when they lost to the Wolves in 2024, Anthony Edwards was kind of like talking trash to the crowd or something. And Jokic kind of goes up to him. This is after the game, so there's no technical or anything. But he goes up to him and kind of confronts him and what have you. And Ant's looking at him like, what? I'm not allowed to talk trash after winning a series? Like it's like it didn't register to him that this would even be a thing. And for Nikola, you know, he takes offense to it. I don't know that these things there's probably something cultural about it, you know, some small thing. But I think mostly it's what Amin said. He's a bit of a sore loser.
He's a sore loser. Like we've seen it a lot of times where he reacts very negatively at the end when he's on the short end of the stick. And I like it. I like it specifically in this series because I like the idea. I don't know, Adam, if you heard the radio call, the Nuggets radio call, but or the play-by-play. I have it. I can send it to you, Maze.
Yeah.
But he calls Jaden McDaniels a D-bag.
No.
And I'm like,
you're talking about the rate? No, okay, not the game call. You're talking about the radio clip. Yeah, this is my guy Vic Lombardi. I know that. I know what you're talking about now.
No, it was the play-by-play. It was the play-by-play.
Oh, okay.
There's a live play-by-play. Yeah, he says, and that, like, you know, you hear the play-by-play up, and he just went up for a layup. Just another classless move by boneheaded Jaden McDaniels, and then the color guy says, Scott Hastings starts saying something, and the play-by-play guy comes back and says, yeah. Just what a D-bag move by McDaniels.
Did he say D-bag or did he say douchebag?
He said D-bag. He didn't say douchebag.
Okay.
You can't, It's FCC. You can't say douchebag. But I love the idea, like, you got so offended by it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, hey, he's not trying to be classy. He doesn't like you guys. He wants to rub it in. It's his absolute every bit of this isn't born out of ignorance. He is actively trying to disrespect the Denver Nuggets. And so I kind of like this idea that, like, hey, these two franchises that are so incestuous in many ways don't like each other. We don't have that anymore in the league. Who are the teams that actively don't like each other? Even when you go to subplot like Bones Highland, hey, they never played me there. Fuck those guys. It's a revenge game every night for Bones, and I just love all that.
There's probably 20. You said incestuous relationship. There's probably 20 crossovers between these two teams, between front office and everything else. And my whole take with McDaniels on this, because I'm with you, this is a great rivalry. I was so mad when this game on game 1 got the 1 o'clock time slot or whatever, because I was looking at this and I was saying, if you were just talking about game matchup, intensity, I get why this stuff works with star power and everything else. It's not that I don't understand it. But I'm like, this is the easiest thing to sell. These teams hate each other. There's probably going to be an ejection in game 1. This is going to be what everybody wants. And this is an easy ticket to sell if you just put something into it. But my thing with Jaden McDaniels was putting a layup in. He didn't even dunk it, by the way. If we really want to go for it, he should have windmill dunked it or something and pointed at the crowd. But that was 2 games after he went to the podium and said, Jokic is trash defender. Yeah. This is a trash, this guy. And I'm thinking, man, that's 100 times more offensive than shooting a layup at the end of game. And the team didn't respond to that. So
yeah, Adelman's comeback to that was not the strongest of, he's working on his podcast. And then Jaden was like, what do you mean my podcast? I don't know what that is.
It's a bit of a storyline in this game that Adelman, not that these things matter. They matter to a fan base when you're down. But he is the opposite of Michael Malone. Michael Malone is I think was the best in the NBA at giving a quote in a heated moment. That guy could summon it and just had these. And if you wanted to get into a trash talk battle, that guy was going to win. I don't know if you guys remember that my favorite one in the Lakers series, they win game 1 back in 2023. And he goes to the podium and he goes, it's going to be really interesting if they're going to play D'Angelo Russell. That's a really interesting question in the series. Basically saying that guy can't play in the series, but they're going to try. He is such a good trash talker. And Adelman, yes, get on your podcast, look at our defensive rating. Our rating's fine. It's like, bro, you cannot do this.
Adelman seems to be losing a PR battle because he's had several moments. He's got that quote. He's got game 4 when they lose, and he's asked as bluntly as I've ever heard the Denver media be, why'd you guys give up in the second half? And he keeps going back. We played a great first half, and everyone's like, no, the second half is the part where it got away from you, with their starting backcourts out, their best players out, and Ayo Dosunmu was giving you work, and he just kept coming back to, I thought we played great in the first half. And then someone asked about the turnovers, and he said, well, we only had 10 turnovers on the night. Coach, 9 of them were in the second half. You can't tout that as though we had good numbers or whatever. And then last night, you get the first question
same guy. It's my guy, Brendan Vos. Same guy just asking a question and gets interrupted.
But is there any part of this? Because obviously this is, like you said, this is a very small part of it. And as long as the guys in the locker room listen to him and respect him, none of this matters. But is there any part of public confidence that is waning because in these moments he's not coming across as poised or kind of in control?
There's no question that if you just talk about a fan base, these quotes have been troublesome because you're in, like you said, you're in a trash talking battle. One guy says these guys can't guard, blah, blah, blah. And the other guy says, I think our effort's fine. For half the game, it's fine. It's the worst trash talk battle you could win. That one's lost. That was a 4-0 sweep so far. The series still going, but the trash talk battle's over. But I think that another stuff, to your point, it doesn't matter, but here's why it does. One of the questions I've always had, if you want to level real criticisms at Jokic or just talk about some limitations, I'm not sure that he's the greatest leader. I think he's a great lead by example guy. I think everybody respects him in a lot of these ways. But when you do find yourself in a foxhole moment, I think there is some looking around at, okay, who is it that we really need here? Jokic steps up and coaches on the court and locker room. He has these moments, but I'm just saying what you're talking about here is we're looking for somebody to step to the microphone and give a soundbite or to inspire some confidence. If it's not Nikola, I don't think it's Jamal. It might be Aaron Gordon, but now he's out. It's definitely not David Adelman. And I think in years past, it was Michael Malone. Like, I think Michael Malone both fit that role and understood that role. And you take that out of the equation. It's not that he didn't have to go or that Adelman's not a great coach or any of this. It's that now you're losing that piece of this. Like, what is our personality in this moment down 3-1 or down 2-1? And I don't think they have a personality setter in that moment.
What do you think the Aaron Gordon injury means most? Where do they hurt most? I mean, the easy answer, I think, is the backline defense and helping Jokic on those drives to not be the only guy back there. But Aaron Gordon, he's never been an all-star. He's never been an all-NBA guy, not all defense. But I would venture to say, I think in the minds of people who cover the game seriously, he is on that kind of level, and he's not available for the Nuggets right now.
Well, it's because he checks so many boxes that there are just go unchecked if he's not there. And part of this is Peyton Watson is his understudy, and he's also out. So there's a redundancy of injuries that's happening to Denver. But I'll go through them because I don't know. I'll tell you, number one, I think, is athleticism. And even though he's in his older age, he has this strength and a vertical ability that still puts pressure on them. And this series is largely about the athletic advantage that is in Minnesota's favor and their ability to press that advantage on Denver. So you take him out, and all of a sudden you have Spencer Jones matching up with Julius Randle. That's a huge size difference and strength difference. And so you lose a lot there. The ability to put pressure on the baseline, Denver, because they don't have athletes, they still have this unique system. And that dunker spot player is such a big piece of the spacing of their team. Christian Brown is playing the dunker spot now in important moments. He has none of those things. And then lastly, we obviously talk about guarding and the help side, so that's there as well. That's extremely important, the backline defense. But the last one is ball handling. And this is where the Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo series are so interesting, is because the Wolves have a lot of levers to press to wear out Jokic and Murray, and that's their game plan. I talked to John Wallace, who's another one of these incestuous relationships, the GM in Denver who comes over from Minnesota, and he told me, in 2024, we knew that what we had to do, the most important thing to the series was wear those guys out, and then we could win the games late. And that's how that series played out. It's how this one was playing out. But when you take out Ant and Dante, all of a sudden, you start having to play guys like Mike Conley and Bones Highland a little bit more. That allows Denver to play Tyus Jones, because all of a sudden now we have moments where we're not worried about Anthony Edwards and we're not worried about these things. It gives Denver extra ball handling. But I think Aaron Gordon is a sneaky, huge part of that as well, because he's a guy that can dribble the ball up the court against pressure and enter the ball so Jamal can take 10 seconds of rest between plays.
I've never seen this before, probably for good reason. A team that was down 3-1 in the series, still listed not only as a favorite to win the series, but one of the favorites to win the championship. Do you think, we all agree they're going to win this series, but is there any part of this that's like a deodorant that's covering for some massive issues that won't apply anymore here, but will apply in the next round?
I think there's no question. And I was funny as we were going into the playoffs and you're looking at the run Denver would have to make. And one of the things I thought would be a positive, first of all, Aaron Gordon, just if he's not healthy, I'm not going to really believe in Denver without him. He's such a big part of their season. And so at some point that bill is going to come due if he's not healthy. But the thing that was interesting was I think that Minnesota in some ways prepares you for San Antonio. Like there's enough similarity there that you could say, we're going to find something in this. We're going to find a rhythm and it's going to translate a little bit over to what they do. Athletic on-ball pressure from their guards, downhill pressure when they have the ball, and then a giant guy down low that's going to contest shots. Big, tall Frenchman. Yeah, exactly.
Kentucky ball handler. Yeah.
Okay, we can keep going. Yep. So I think that there was something to say that there's a rhythm. And I think sometimes that could be nice, in a series when you don't have to like slingshot from one style of play to the other round to round. And so I was excited about that one. But it all just comes down to Aaron Gordon and what he's able to give you, because I'm very skeptical that this calf strain is going to go away. And if he can't play, at some point, this bill is going to come due in a major way.
I did a story a couple years ago about how Jokic is the least supported MVP ever, and Bomani Jones is convinced that he might be the least supported star ever in terms of number of teammates that have been all-star, all-NBA, or all-defense. It's just one. It's this year. Jamal Murray ended the streak. How do you interpret that stat? And when people say, oh, if the Nuggets are out in the first round, they need to go upgrade the roster and get this type of player next to Jokic. What does that player look like in your mind? And is his legacy, quote unquote, different if he's next to Luka Doncic for his career or next to Giannis Antetokounmpo for his career? He hasn't had that type of guy. And most MVPs play next to another superstar or another star over their careers, and he just hasn't had that.
Well, one of the things I would say is that Jamal Murray has played like a superstar in their 2 deep playoff runs. One was in the bubble, which we can factor out that for however much you want to, but he was phenomenal in that bubble run. And then the other one was the championship run, in which he played like an all-star. He had a 30-point triple-double in the finals. He played like an all-star, even though he's not. Yoke really has had to carry this team in the regular season for all of these years. And I think there is an accumulation. One of the questions you could ask is, he's 31 years old, but the mileage on him, because he is an 82 games a year guy, and he's carrying a team that's not quite ready to be at that level until they get to the playoffs. So I think that's really where you see it. But it's less to me about a collection of superstars that you have on your roster, how many all-stars. It's more about what you can accomplish. And I think the Denver formula, if they are to go down this year, the Denver formula, the question you have to ask is, has the league moved around it? And the league is getting more athletic, more versatile ball handlers. And in years past, if you're going to have Murray and Jokic, you're already going to have 2 guys that you're going to have to cover for to some extent defensively. Even if they can do certain things, they can't do all things. And you could do that with 3 guys if you're perfectly on a string. We saw with Boston first, and I think we saw with Indiana and OKC, that all of a sudden you have all of these very athletic, very quick guards all around the court that can pressure the ball and get into the paint. And now it's not even about scrambling. There's too many guys that can get around you and get to the paint. So maybe you can't have two average or negative defenders on your roster, and you might need to just surround Yoke with more athleticism, more defense. And the 2-man game, they've been number 1 offense a lot. They might not be number 1 offense. You might have to be number 5 offense because you don't have that second offensive superstar, but you do have 7 role-playing defenders around you, which is sort of the OKC model. This is they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The drop-off between him and the second best guy is big, even though those guys are good. It really is Shai and a supporting cast, and that might have to be the model Denver moves to going forward.
What's wrong with Cam Johnson?
This is a tough question. So I thought he was great last night, by the way, and one of the things he was great at was creating his own offense. I think he's a guy that has come in and, by his very nature, really wants to fit into a system when that system is designed for people to step outside the lines on occasion within certain parameters. And he just has not been comfortable doing that. You can see him second guess, is this my spot? Is it not? All year long. But I actually have been thinking about this too. Murray was an all-star this year, and he was in great shape. But part of why he was an all-star is that the 2-man game has become more of Denver's identity than in years past. That's always been like back pocket for most of the game. Fourth quarter, here it is. Mm-hmm. And we'll go to it in touchy moments. I think it has become so much of what they do now that you see Aaron Gordon's numbers are down. Christian Brown's numbers are even down from last year. And now Cam Johnson's numbers are down. And part of me wonders if the formula that made it work for all 5 guys in years past might be a little bit more difficult because you have to pick your spots even more if you're a Cam Johnson.
Mike Malone in UNC, your thoughts?
I think it's incredible, man. I think it's incredible. Like college basketball, I can't pretend I'm an expert on what's going to make a great coach, but when you talk about like all the things I said, you have to establish an identity and a personality as a coach. And I think that's easier to do in college when like you really get to determine what the personality is. And I think that guy will have a charisma, and I think the fan base, as long as he wins, the fan base is absolutely going to love him. And he seems like the things that he is strong at, you get a longer leash at in college, and the things he's weaker at, are maybe less prevalent in college. I have no idea how he'll do with recruiting and all those other things, which is really how you win at that level. But I think he seems to me like a college coach.
He was at Manhattan back in the day, and he did the Northeastern kind of college tour. But, man, I just can't see Coach Malone. There's so much bullshit in college. That's just has nothing to do with basketball. I mean, I just can't see him tolerating that shit, man.
Maybe you might be right. I think he is a good bullshitter, and I say this with full full affection. So it might actually be a perfect match. I like I said, I don't know college basketball enough. I think from a personality standpoint, though, he is the type of coach that a fan base will rally behind because that's the guy you want at the rally. That's the guy you want, hyping everybody up.
Cult of personality. He definitely scores an A+ on that.
Totally.
Yeah, I when I saw that, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, UNC's doing it again with Bill Belichick," and I was like, "No, this is not the same thing at all. Malone's going to be awesome in that role. It's just whether what, like Amin said, if he puts up with the bullshit at Carolina or not Carolina, but the college basketball." Yeah.
I mean, you might appreciate this one though. You remember George Karl replaced him in Sacramento, and those guys don't think have a lot of love for each other. Then he comes to Denver and he passes George Karl as all-time winningest head coach in Nuggets history. And now he goes to North Carolina. But George Karl, you know one thing about him, he is that is his personality and identity. And I suspect I haven't talked to anybody about this, but I sit back and I go, man, I wonder what George thinks of this one.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
George is definitely pissed. Dude, you're right. He's Carolina true and through,
Yeah. Well, Adam, I appreciate you joining us today. Anything you would like to plug, please do it here. That was awesome. Thank you for the breakdown.
No, man, this is one of my favorite shows, so I appreciate it. This is like every now and then you get to do something cool. I get to check a box today.
You know what I love about DNVR, Tom? Have you ever been to their studio?
No.
Their studio's in a bar.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's pretty. Come on now. Yeah, it's pretty great. All NBA show me and Tim Legler. That's the only thing I'll push, and of course the NBR stuff. If you're a Nuggets fan.
So good. Thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate it. It's
Thanks,
weird
Adam.
Having Anthony Maes. I'm gonna say Mace and Adam Mares. This is great. Very confusing for me.
Yeah, Tom's not good with letters.
No. Tripping me up all the time.
Big numbers only, baby.